Welcome back to another episode of Financially Fit with me, Jeff Smith. Along with me is my beautiful co-host, Jennifer Scherer, and the other one, Tony Shore, the famous Tony Shore. Tony, how are you today?
I am doing great. Infamous. You forgot the
Infamous.
in.
Oh,
That's
that's what
correct.
it
But you gotta have
was.
there should have been an in, and
Don't
there
we
should
have
have been a
this?
doctor
Oh,
somewhere
that's
in
right.
there, Dr. Tony Shore, right?
Doctor. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not a real doctor, but I play one on the podcast. And
yes,
so I mean I'm as much of a doctor as Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz, right? I mean
that's
I
for
can't
sure. Am I right? I mean, you went to school for 8 years, you know?
Yeah, a lot of people go to school for 8 years. They're called
They're
doctors.
called doctors. Oh,
I'm
this
not
has
an
gotta be
actual
you.
doctor. No, no. Well, hey guys, thanks for having me on your show. Jennifer, great to see you again. Jeff, always great to see you.
You too, buddy.
Go Montreal, I guess. Jennifer's got the water bottle and Jeff
Yeah.
has the show your water bottle to the kids
Well,
out
it is
there.
not,
Wow, that's a cool one. That's
it is
really
absolutely common knowledge.
is that bedazzled? That
It
is
is
just
bedazzled. It is
wow,
straight from Montreal, actually.
that's so cool. I
We,
wish you'd gotten me one. Little hurt.
we'll get a Minnesota Wild one for you. We know how important they are to you.
I love the Wild. I
know.
wish they did better. So
Yeah. Well, if as of this recording, Montreal's still in a playoff spot, which I couldn't say that a couple of years for the past couple of years. So
no.
very excited. I'm very
Yeah.
excited. There's a buzz in DC because Montreal could be coming to town here in about 6 days.
Wow.
That's exciting.
Very
You
excited.
should have seen him last night.
I was going crazy.
I almost had a heart attack when when the Habs scored.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
how he
Were-
reacted.
You were into it, huh?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
jumped up and started clapping.
Did you?
To the air, like they could hear me.
They could hear you. Kind of when you drive in your car and you're talking to other drivers.
Yes, of
You're
course.
yelling at other
They
drivers.
absolutely hear me.
My wife always tells me, Tony, they can't hear you. And I'm like, yeah, but if I swear at them, it makes me feel better inside.
It does, doesn't it?
No, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No.
Well, hey, we're talking about fitness and finance, right?
Yeah,
Fitness
right.
and finance is the name of the show. You said financially fit. I think the
I
show
did.
is fitness and finance. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've even got it wrong up here. I have financial fitness where we're
Yeah.
1 out of 3 ain't bad, right?
No, we're
for the
meatloaf.
actual show name.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think our show prior to Jennifer joining was Financially Fit, and
It
so I
was.
got a little bit confused.
It was.
Yeah, but
Fitness
that was
and finance. Always remember, Jennifer always comes first, and so the show
That's
name is
true.
Fitness and
I mean,
Finance because
that is true.
she's here to talk about fitness.
Yep.
And obviously, for those watching the show, this is important. For those watching the show, they can just look at the three of us, and they can look at Jennifer and know that she's talking about fitness, and that Jeff is talking about fitness and finance, and
Mhm.
look at me and know that if I say something, it's probably going to be about pizza. That's what they can tell from looking at us.
So fitness pizza.
It's probably going to be pizza related. Yeah. Yeah.
There's
So-
healthy pizza.
Yeah, there is healthy pizza. A lot of veggies. You can put a lot of veggies. You can get that. Cauliflower crust isn't bad.
Yes.
I've had
It's
that.
actually not that bad.
It isn't that bad. It's pretty good. I mean, a lot of the gluten-free stuff out there, I can't stand. It's immediately tastes terrible.
Yes.
But cauliflower pizza crust,
Mhm.
I've had it a few places, and I really like it.
Jen, what do you think about have you heard this completely chicken pizza crust? Have you heard about that?
Completely chicken?
Yeah, so
Wow.
they do this chicken. Look it up. It's from like the carnivore diet.
Wow, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's all chicken.
Even the
you just put-
crust.
the crust is chicken. That's the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
But then you put your toppings on it.
Well, sure.
Yeah, and then it's
But
just
then
the fruits
you layer it in ranch dressing and cheese
with lard, with pure lard.
and it all of a sudden not so healthy.
Nah.
No.
I tell you what, you can give me the healthiest food, and I will come up with a way to make it number one taste good, and number two be super high in calories and terrible
Right.
for you.
I mean,
You
if there's
can give
maple
me-
syrup around, you can
well-
make anything taste good.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff
Speaking-
actually he makes healthy food taste good. I mean, seriously. He's
Preach
got
it.
Yep. He's got a lot of
Let's talk
tricks
about
up his
that.
sleeve.
Yeah, we make good food, don't we?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well,
Tastes good.
it's part of fitness and finance is how you eat. You can waste a lot of money eating out, or you can make your own food that's healthier,
Yeah.
that's not as processed,
I'll
right?
tell you what, it's incredible. We should really focus on that today too. Is the people that work out really hard, spend a lot of money to do so, and then go out to eat 6 days a week. I mean, I think
Yep.
we talked about it previously, but it is, I mean, you're talking about a significant amount of money
Especially
as well
now.
as yeah, and especially with, the sodium levels that are in it doesn't matter if it's a healthy, quote unquote healthy, it is loaded with sodium. It's loaded with it's not gonna be butter, it's probably gonna be some sort of processed between oil and butter, right? I mean, they have these
Yeah.
fake things that
Yeah.
that make everything taste good.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it changes your palate, it changes your taste buds to the point where when you eat healthy, you can't stand it because it has no taste of processed food. So it's such a damaging thing. And from a financial standpoint, it's better served buying more time with a personal trainer or
Mhm.
recovery,
Yeah.
and save thousands of dollars a month. I'm talking
Food
thousands.
is in the last 5 years, my wife and I have noticed when we eat out, in the last 5 years, the prices have at least doubled, in a
Oh,
lot of the
yeah.
places we go. I mean, it's exponentially more expensive. Now I sound like an old person or, I sound like I'm retired, already
Back
in
in my day.
retirement, but, and I am getting up there compared to you guys, I am old, but the thing is, because 'cause you're a couple of young kids, uh,
Yeah.
but seriously though, I can't believe the price of food, and I
Mhm,
love it. We used to love eating out, but we're really cutting back right now because of the cost of things. And like you say,
mhm,
so much is now is processed. Even
Yeah.
even like you go to the medium priced restaurants,
Uh-huh.
and you think, oh, I'm going to save a little money. I'm not going to go to Manny's Steakhouse in downtown Minneapolis,
right.
Minnesota, which is the best food I've ever eaten in my life.
Mhm,
But the $95 steak,
Mhm.
can't
right.
eat that every day. But you go to a regular place and you don't know, a lot of them, it's all frozen or that same Cisco
Yes.
truck with the
Processed, yes.
processed food,
Yep.
or whatever company that they delivers the food. It's not fresh.
Yeah.
It is processed and it's full of sodium. Like, people think, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to go buy some chicken breasts at the grocery store.
Mhm,
Those things are so packed full of sodium, and they inject them with salt water and
mhm,
oil and just processed oils to get them to be that size and be
mhm.
moist. And so, they're so full of sodium. And I thought sandwiches, but when I went to a dietitian, Jennifer, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but sandwich meat, deli meat,
Oh, it's the
Terrible.
is
worst.
really high in sodium, isn't it?
Mhm, mhm.
Yes. In fact, that's one of the first things when Jeff started working with me, when he hired me to be his dietitian, that's one of the first things I cut out.
Yeah.
I said, you got to get rid of that deli meat. There, not only the salt, but also the chemicals like the nitrites and the nitrates and the sulfates and all
Yes,
this.
there's a lot of that in deli meat, isn't there? And
Yeah.
here I always thought I was eating, that's just
Yeah.
pure turkey right there, or pure
Yeah.
ham.
Right.
That's natural. That's right off the bone. That's perfect. That's not gonna, there's nothing in that. But they
Right.
inject that stuff with so much and
Mhm.
pump
Yeah.
it full of fillers, and then they slice it up, right?
Right. Right. And also there's something, I don't know if you've heard of it, called the perfect bliss point. So it's that perfect combination of salt, fat, and crunch in the like in regards to potato chips, for example. And that is typically chemically engineered to be addictive. The companies literally know how much salt, how much fat, and what type of
Oh, yeah.
crunch people need to continue eating, with a reckless abandon.
Yeah.
So companies like Lay's potato chips it's awful. It's almost like a drug-like campaign if you think about
Well,
it.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, think about all the addictive chemicals that are out
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
I mean, even, we'll step outside of nutrition, but like Flonase and stuff like that. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
there are things out there that are programmed to just get you on a cycle. you know,
Mhm.
to
And they're
consume.
so bad for you.
So bad for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my doctor told me to avoid that type of stuff, those antihistamine
yeah.
products at all costs.
We just finished the book, and you know, one of the things that after you read it, you know, that I sort of like, it dawned on me that there's nothing revelatory in there. You know what I mean? It is from the aspect of the simplicity of it. And the simplicity of what we're talking about are really solid fundamentals. Now, it doesn't mean that we're not creative. In fact, once we get you into a situation where you're our client, we are very creative, but our processes are very, um, you know, reliable. They're backed by science. They're backed by fact. You know, on the financial side, but our routines are not routine. Let's put it that way. Our structures are can be complicated, but the system and the process is very simple. And I think that's one of the big values that you get with a team like Jennifer and I, because we've seen it so long. We know what works, we know what doesn't work.
Mhm.
And do you really want to be a client where, you know, somebody's testing out a new concept on you, you know, to see if it works for the big clients? I know that that happens. I know that that happens. They, you know, some big firms will use somebody with $250,000, and if it fails, oh well, you know. But if it works, they'll apply it to the multi-million dollar clients.
Mhm.
And
Well,
so
yeah, and
we,
how that relates in the fitness arena is most most fitness regimen are developed in like as fast and as quick, with big results, right? And it's usually not realistic. And so when they come to a studio like ours, it's like, I kind of am real with them, give them a little bit of a reality check. Like, we're not going to guarantee 10 pounds in 10 weeks. Let's take this slow and steady and let's change your life. Let's not look for that quick fix fad.
right.
You got to put in the work.
And
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
And that's why I love the topic title you came up with for the show today. You guys came up with the cost of waiting
Mhm.
and how that can help your wallet and your health. And you just illustrated it right there, Jennifer. I mean,
Mhm.
slow and steady wins the race. If you're in a hurry to get there, you're probably going to make costly mistakes with your health.
Yep.
Jennifer knows that, and with your wealth, right, Jeff?
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes. I mean, you couldn't it I almost daily deal with people that want to get rich overnight and they don't understand why they're not. And chasing things, you know, I call it, there's a tuition cost, right? If you're gonna do crazy things, you better be willing to lose money and time, especially in fitness and in finances, right? So if you're
Right.
gonna make big and bold decisions, if they don't work, you need to know that you've lost massively, and to rebuild that takes time, and you're just going to relearn that lesson every time until you just decide that this is the right way to do things. And I'm a perfect example of that, right, Jennifer?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that someday trap. There's never a perfect time, right, to start. It's like the longer you wait, the harder it's going to feel,
Hmm.
you know? And every day you delay is like a day that you could be feeling better or stronger.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a friend of mine wrote a song called Startin' Monday, Terry Taylor. You should look it up. It's a great song. Terry Scott Taylor,
Nice.
Startin' Monday. And he talks about, I'm going to start eating better.
yep.
I'm going to eat better starting Monday.
Yep.
And I'm gonna treat my friends with more respect starting Monday, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And he goes through the list. This character in the song goes through the list, but it's always starting Monday.
Yeah.
And there's no better time than the present. I mean, the
Yeah.
best time to do it was 20 years ago.
Definitely.
The second best time is right now.
Yeah. Isn't there a song called "If Someday Never Comes"?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
great one too.
Or when Monday never comes, I guess
Yeah,
is
Yeah.
probably more
same.
appropriate.
A
Yeah.
lot of my clients, though, they come in with an all or nothing mindset typically that I have to work really hard to kind of help reverse.
What
They're
do you
either
mean?
they're either like doing everything, like I'm just going to eat vegetables and drink water and eat chicken, every day.
Uh-huh.
Or they slip up in the morning and they might have a pastry and then the whole day they're off. And it's like, we've got to start with like 80% of the time you're focused on whole foods, quality, nutrient dense. And if you fall off 20% of the time, please don't let that ruin, the rest of your day.
Yeah.
Because it takes time to develop those habits. And
Where-
really, they're nothing more than habits.
Where do you think that comes from, Jennifer? What that mindset, is that something that is fixed, or is that something that can change, do you think?
Oh, you can absolutely change it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like confidence in a person, like building up their own self-confidence and understanding that, wow, I am making change. It's not happening maybe as fast as it would if it was like a elimination diet or something like that, but it's measurable progress in a way of like they're sleeping better, their energy's getting better.
Yeah.
And a lot of people feel like it is fixed, but it's not. It's definitely not. It's just their habits. That's all they are.
Mhm. I'll tell you something, we have success stories, right? We have so many success stories, which are fantastic. And I can't tell you how fulfilling that really is on both sides of the fence. I've got to experience a little bit on to see some transformation on the fitness side, but I can't tell you how many times I've had people come in just this past year and said, with tears in their eyes, I can't believe I'm here. I'm at retirement and everything's taken care of. I feel so happy. I feel so peaceful. And they put the work in. But when we started, it was a little rocky. It wasn't pretty, and some tough choices had to be made. And I think that's what there's a cost associated with waiting. That's what we really want to get into today.
Mm-hmm.
And really, we looked up some stats. I mean, it's ridiculous. Long-term care, the average stay in a private room is between 90 and $150,000 a year. Okay. If you're in a semi-private room with a roommate, that drops down to $70,000 to $90,000 a year. And if you're at home, it's about $45,000 to $65,000 a year. So there is a significant cost associated with long-term care. Now, does fitness and healthy financial decisions change a long-term care situation? Possibly, because the primary drivers of going into a long-term care unit can typically be mitigated with
Right. Your
healthy
health,
diet.
the two factors that play a part in that issue are your health and your wealth. And
Mhm.
so, if you stay healthy and practice that, work with someone like Jennifer, then you can hopefully avoid having to go into long-term care and, maybe do the in-home care and age in place rather than having to do that. I know because both my parents are in long-term. My dad is in assisted living, and he's probably going to have to go into full-time care somewhat soon, I'd say within the next year. And my mom has been in full-time long-term care for 2 years, and it's $11,000 a month.
Oh my goodness, Tony.
And she
Yeah.
got Parkinson's. And my dad now has Parkinson's. And even
Goodness.
though they say it's not a hereditary thing, it is, and it's unusual for both people in one
Mhm.
couple to have Parkinson's like they
Right.
have it.
Sure.
So long-term care is outrageous, and you have to plan for it. There are financial things you can do to plan for it that
Yep.
Jeff can help with, right?
Mhm.
There's
Yep.
there's hybrid policies now that are
Yes.
really good for long-term
Amazing.
care where you don't lose that premium,
Right.
where before if you had long-term care insurance, you paid this huge premium in each month, and then
Mhm.
all of a sudden if you didn't need it, that's gone. That
Yeah,
money
gone.
is just gone.
Yep.
Now it could be a death benefit for your loved ones, or it can help you if you need it.
Mhm.
So I think that's great. And
They're
Jennifer,
wonderful things.
obviously, the more people work with you, the better off they're going to be in retirement, because they'll have their health,
Right.
at least a better shot at it, right?
Yeah. My gosh. Think about all the people in long-term care. Most of them are in there with preventable diseases had they started sooner.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
know?
Yep.
And it gets expensive managing medications and all the
Oh,
doctor visits and all the treatments.
it's very expensive.
And if you think about it, all that long-term care comes with not just a price tag, but a decrease in mobility because a lot of times they're not getting physical therapy and rehab like they should. And so it's just a progressive decline. It's kind of
Mhm.
waiting for the inevitable if you think about it. as opposed to if
Yeah.
you had made the investment sooner, if you had started sooner, would have been a lot cheaper.
I can tell you, just watching
Yeah,
people deteriorate in a long-term care unit over time is just tragic.
it is.
And not only, not just, it's hard because sometimes mentally they're there, but their body just doesn't work for them anymore. And like Jennifer said, I mean, imagine just laying in bed basically 24 hours a day,
Yeah.
just literally waiting to die. It's just seems to me it's just and paying 11 grand a month for it or whatever
Oh,
it is. 10 grand
it's
a month,
brutal.
man.
I mean,
Yeah.
what I'm going through with my mom is brutal, and what she's going through. I mean, I shouldn't
I'm
say,
so sorry.
yeah,
I
but
know
it's. I mean, part of my issue is I'm an only child, so
yeah, there's no
not only are my wife and I trying to get the adult children off the
right off the
Mhm.
dole.
right off the dole. That's a better way. I was going to use another terminology. I was thinking
Right.
of little baby piglets and their mother. Got to get them off. But
Yes.
anyway, my mom, and then with my parents, and I see the cost, and I just like, oh my gosh, this is, I don't want to
Mhm.
spend the last 5 years of my life like that.
Right.
And I hate for my parents to have to do that. I love them
Right.
both. My mom is actually still pretty mentally sharp. I mean, she
Mhm.
still is. She still is enough for her to give me a hard time and tease me. That's my
Yeah.
family's. That's our modus operandi right
I
there.
get
That's how we operate.
Yeah.
She gives me a hard time, and are you behaving yourself, son? Don't get into trouble up there in that big city. And then she laughs.
I love it.
Then she laughs. But anyway, I just think it is so important. And Jennifer, what you do is so critical because there are so many things that people could be doing that will probably at least help stave off the things like Alzheimer's and dementia. And as they learn more and more about that, they are saying, they don't know exactly what causes it and they don't have all the answers, but all the studies and articles I've read about it say, processed foods, not
Yeah.
good, bad chemicals, taking care of your body, which is why the cost of waiting, don't wait to start, don't put it off.
Yeah.
Do it now. It's like the
Yeah.
best time to plant a tree. The best
Yeah.
time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The
Yeah,
second best time is today. Same
Yeah.
with your health and your wealth. The best time to start financial planning and get a plan in place for retirement is today, no
Mhm.
matter where you're at. And the best time to get a good physical plan together
Mhm.
is today.
Mhm.
Except for me, it's I have a couple of trips to the pizza buffet I want to make first, and then I'll start on
On
Monday,
on Monday.
right? Yeah. No, that's not right, is it?
Oh
No.
my gosh, it's awful.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yet you're
I'm in
laughing. I got you to laugh about it,
and
though.
the
Got caught you
medical
there.
exercise piece that I do. So a lot of times clients will, I mean, I've been working with some clients for over 17 years and they're still with me. And so I've seen them through that aging process. And some clients will say, I feel like they attribute their quality of life and their mobility to sticking with the program,
Mhm.
and having the appointment
Well,
and showing up for themselves.
talk about Shirley, for example, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Shirley's 88.
and she's
Yeah.
she does physical training and Pilates.
Yeah.
And I've trained her before and she's pretty mobile.
Yeah.
She still
Sure.
drives and
Surely you're kidding.
surely you jest.
You jest.
But then
Stop
you take
calling me
that
Shirley.
You
Yeah.
take that into somebody like I have another client whose name I won't share, but I go to his house for medical exercise. I've been going to his house for like the last 6 years. And he started when he was in his late 70s.
Wow.
But at this point, I'm now doing acupressure because he's now on he's hospice. He's, bed bound and he has 24/7 care. But seeing him through that point, I mean, maybe he would have been in hospice 3 years. I don't know how long we were able to extend, but the point is he, was able to at least stay home, get the exercise in, have somewhat of a quality of life before heading down that path. And I mean, for him, he didn't do the nutrition and I kept encouraging it. And as a diabetic, that is crucial.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
That is crucial.
let's talk about some of the top diseases that
Yeah.
ultimately cause people to go to long-term care. Now,
Oh my gosh.
obviously Parkinson's and Alzheimer's are big ones, right? And
Mhm.
again, there are things you can do just naturally to help, keep yourself as fit as possible. And I think there is a correlation between exercise and Alzheimer's, right? So
Yes.
it's, activity seems to be a good indication of
Mhm.
whether or not you're going to potentially have symptoms down the road.
Mhm.
But outside of that, stroke is the number one, which cardiovascular health is so important. And if you're managing your blood pressure, you're managing, your cardiovascular health, it's pretty likely, unless you have some severe genetic issues, that you can avoid those types of things. Obviously, all of our hearts stop at one point.
Mhm.
So, it's kind of hard not to have that kind of an issue. Um, but diabetes is another thing, right?
Yeah, and chronic conditions like that develop quietly. A lot of
They do.
times, they especially diabetes and heart disease, they're like the silent kill the heart disease is like the silent killer.
Mhm.
And so you think, you know, if you have time now and you're thinking about this, make a decision. Jump on board and start moving your body, start choosing healthier foods. Work with a professional that can analyze your blood work and really, analyze your the way your body moves and what
Mhm.
exercises are safe for you.
And these are the things that you do, correct,
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
And
Yeah.
she's amazing at it.
Oh,
That's
thank you.
awesome.
Amazing. Amazing. Yep.
That's
Yeah.
The
awesome.
results are incredible when you look at the people, how long they've been with Jennifer, that average age, it's incredible. I mean, there's a 78-year-old that I trained, and she walked all over London,
Mhm.
and she had to leave some of her friends behind because they couldn't keep up with her.
Sure.
And, I mean, she just travels all over because she stayed fit. Now she has some issues, medical issues at 78. A lot of people do have some things, but she manages it really well with diet and fitness.
Yep.
And, you know, I just think there's such I mean, we can't harp on it enough. And,
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise we wouldn't have a podcast if we didn't talk about it. But
Right.
the reality is that it's really in the mind too. So what we've learned too is once you get the all or nothing people in there, there's a lot of people who are all in. And when they're all in, yeah, you have to kind of control that to a point, but they're going to have success because they have an um, internal drive that
Drive.
that makes that decision. And once they make that decision, they're going to be all in and do everything that Jennifer says to do. And when they do, they have tremendous success. I mean, the young guy, you know, that we worked with, early on, I mean, he
Mhm.
lost what, 60 some pounds,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, now
It's
he's
really exciting for
back
us
squatting.
because it's like that gets me out of bed every morning,
Hmm.
It's
That's
like,
awesome.
that's my passion is to see people reach their potential. And
Yeah.
when they come in and they're so unsure of themselves. And it's almost like you can see them standing taller over the course of the months being there. You can see them, just more confident because they've been affirmed and they've been like, they've realized that with hard work comes the fruits of the labor,
Hmm.
you know? I mean, whether it's better sleep, better skin, being able to feel like you're fitting in clothes that you might, have stowed away in your closet. All of those things make a big difference, I think, in a person's self confidence.
Sure.
Yeah.
So one of the
Huge.
things I want to tie this in, Tony, is everybody, most people contribute to their 401k. Almost everybody does. Maybe if you're in your 20s, you're like, whatever, I have no idea what I'm doing there, so I don't do it. But once you hit a certain point, and even later on, I find that people are maxing out at 20% as they age because they're trying to catch up and play, catch up, right? But the fact is, if they started at 20 and just did 10%, not just of their 401k, but outside, I mean, I suggest like everything that you bring in, pay yourself first is a term that is old as time, but it's true. And you put 10% away on everything that comes in the door. Uh, it's hard to go wrong. And so what we're asking for too here, or the fitness side, is invest in that too. You have to invest uh in your health. You have to invest financially and from a time standpoint. Like I was talking with uh a guy who's seen me be transformed over the last 3 years, and so much so that he decided to go over and talk to Jen. just this past week.
Mhm.
But he said, you know, he you know, it's recognizable, right? And now he said, I want to do something for myself. He's like, I got, I'm spending a lot of time with my kids, helping them go. I look in the back of my car and there's McDonald's wrappers. There's evidence of young kids and in drive-throughs, right? And he said, when do I do this? When I think there's a significant amount of people out there who may feel like it's selfish, but the reality is you're no good to your family dead. You're no good to your family sitting in a home for 10 years.
Plus, you're going to put that burden, your health
Yeah,
problems become your family's burden.
100%.
And why do that to your family? It's not just about you. It's about burdening others as well. So it's not
Correct.
it's the best thing you can do for yourself and your loved ones. I think that's a great point, Jeff. Now we should wrap this up for this
Yep.
episode. But what a great episode this has been. And we're going to continue talking about these topics on the next episode in a week. But before we go, let's let our listeners know what they can do to get started. The cost of waiting is great. So don't wait to get your financial affairs in order, get a plan in place, an investment plan, a retirement plan, and a plan for your health care and your health. Jennifer, let's start with you. How can our listeners and viewers out there get a hold of you?
So I would suggest going to our website, which is online, fbergfitness.com. And then from there, click the button to book a discovery call, and we can talk through kind of where you are from a health perspective and kind of what we can do from a service perspective to help you.
All right. Spell out that web address.
Yep, it's fburgfitness.com.
All right. fburgfitness.com. That's fburgfitness.com. All right. Jeff, how can people, I know you're offering a no charge, no obligation consultation for our listeners out there who want you can take a look at their 401ks or their finances and get a second opinion on where they're at. And if they don't have a written financial plan and retirement income plan in place, you can help them do that. How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, exactly, Tony. You can go to the retirementsmith.com, and you can also click on a button to schedule a time to get on my calendar. You can call us at 540-371-9777, and Chris will get us all set up, and we'll be happy to review all that you have and how we can help you.
All right. Well, great show today. I loved it. I learned a lot. This is good. And what an impact waiting can have on your health and your wallet. Why do it? Why not start right now?
Right.
But don't just jump in and think you're going to do everything all at once either. That was the main point I got out of this as well. So listeners and viewers, that does it for today's episode of Fitness and Finance with our hosts, Jeff and Jennifer.